Okay, good morning, Mr. Jevning.
Good morning, Mr. Jevning.
Hi, everyone.
My name's Jevning-Sieber. I'm a teacher at Sterling Heights Elementary School in Okinawa, Japan. These kids, we're a school for the children and all of military members. So every kid in here has a parent in the military, or their parents work for the government in some way. I'll add to it. We're like any other school. If you walk into school, you think you're in America. But just in different locations. A lot of the kids, they move around a lot, about every 3 years, right, guys?
Yes.
And their parents get orders and all, but they're a good group of kids. And the thing they really want to hear first is your first encounter, because they're really invested in that.
Well, let's back up a little bit from that first one. I was 14 the first time we saw it. We never heard the word Bigfoot before back in those days. A friend came over to spend the weekend, and there was snow on the ground, so we were kind of bored. There wasn't anything to do, so we decided to walk over to our friend John's house. And we couldn't find the trail because the snow had gone through the woods, so we decided to go down the railroad tracks.
No, they're not.
And we got down the railroad tracks, and we saw something between the rails ahead of us. So we walked up there, and there was this pile of animal intestines laying between the rails. There was no footprints around anywhere. So we couldn't figure out how they got there. And I told my friend Mark, I said, well, we didn't see anything coming this way. We can see to the right in the field, there's nothing over there. So I said, you walk down the tracks, see if you see anything, and I'll climb this little hill to our left. And when I got up on this little hill, it was maybe 10 feet high. There was footprints everywhere in the snow. So I called him, and we were standing there looking at this, just with our mouths hanging open. We'd never seen anything like this. These were, they were like big human footprints, but way bigger than ours. And we thought, well, who in the world's going to be out here, let alone barefoot? And it was only about 17 degrees out that morning. It was really cold. And then I said, those intestines aren't frozen yet. Whatever did this is really close by. So that scared us. We took our friend into our friend John's house. And when we got there, he had 2 younger sisters and 2 younger brothers. So it was just a lot of noise going on. And his dad came out and he said, boys, what's going on? So we told him, and he says, okay, take me up there and show me what you found. So he took a .45 pistol and a camera, and all of us went back up there. And he took a bunch of pictures, and he told us what he thought they were. And he must have seen something on television or read a magazine article. There wasn't much out back in those days. So, at that age, we were pretty excited. There was monsters in the woods. And we went out looking every day or every weekend and never saw anything, so we'd get kind of bored. And 2 years later, right at dusk, as the sun was setting, my dog was barking like crazy. I had a collie, and we had to tie him up at night to his doghouse because he liked to roam the neighboring farms, and he'd bring the neighbors' pigs and all kinds of stuff to our house. So that wasn't a good thing for the neighbors. So we had to tie him up to keep him out of trouble. And my dad always said we had a lot of animals. We had a lot of raccoons and skunks and things like that. And my dad always said they probably had rabies, so we should probably dispose of them. So thinking it was a skunk or something like that, I grabbed a .22 and I said, took the dog and I said, okay, go get him. And he runs straight out to the tree line. And I'm following him. And I get about 50 or 100 feet from him. And he didn't enter the woods. He was just standing there at the edge of the woods with his ears up. I had that dog 13 years and never saw him stop for anything. And then as I approached him, he turned around and ran past me really fast. I thought, what is that crazy dog doing? he never runs from anything. So he ran back and jumped on the porch, and I could see him sitting there shivering. I thought, what in the world? Now, he had gotten into a porcupine. So, I thought maybe he learned his lesson, maybe the porcupine's back. So I walked up to the tree line, and I could hear something moving in there. And I put a bullet into the gun, and there were some low-hanging branches, so I kind of pushed my way through into this clearing that was inside the tree line. And as I came through, under this big maple tree was this massive creature standing there. And it was moving the leaves around with its right foot. And I was no more than 15 or 20 feet away from it. I froze. And when it saw me, it stopped moving. And we just sort of stood there and looked at each other, and I all these things, million things going through my mind. And I finally, and all of this happens in just a second or two, all these thoughts. And it occurred to me that this must be one of the things that made the footprints that we found a couple of years before. So I thought, what in the world do I do now? This thing is huge. It had to be 8 feet tall, about 800 or 900 pounds at least. Across his shoulders was 4 to 5 feet. It was huge. So I thought, well, maybe I'll shoot in the air and that'll scare it. So I shot in the air. It just stood there and looked at me. And then I heard some noise from my right rear. So I'm trying to keep one eye on it over here and kind of see what's going on. And here comes another one walking out from behind the brush. And it walked past me, I don't even know how far, maybe 10 feet away. And it walked over and stood next to the first one. And it was slightly smaller, maybe a head shorter. And that was it. I figured my dog was smart. He took off running, so I took off running. And we tracked it the next morning. My friends and I called. My sisters made fun of me so bad when we found the footprints, so I wasn't saying anything. And we went and tracked it with our rifles the next morning. Until the sun came out and melted the tracks in the frost, we never did find. I don't know what we thought we were going to do if we did find them, but so that was the end of that account.
Well, we have a good mix in here of believers, skeptics, and one or two non-believers. Like we talked about, we use Sasquatch here, or I use it at this school, to teach these kids how to choose the side of an opinion and defend it, because there's so much lack of that nowadays. And so we've read the books. I've read some of your books, other books, stuff that's for and against the existence of Sasquatch. And then they kind of do research. And right now, talking to you, they're going to get their last few questions answered. They're going to finish their presentations, and then they're going to present to their classmates. And, I'm known as the crazy Bigfoot teacher at school. But everybody supports it.
That's perfectly all right.
It's tied to the standards. I'm a believer. Hopefully I get to come out one summer and do some research or something. I'd really love to do that. But I guess maybe we could jump into the questions the students have. I could email them to you. The first question, though, we have a unique situation here. The guy who asked the first question, Eddie, him and his family are actually on emergency leave in Hawaii right now. So he is with us on my phone, FaceTime. So what we'd like to do is, Lewis, if you could go ahead and put Eddie up close to the camera so Mr. Jevning can see him.
This is Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
Hello.
So Eddie, go ahead and ask your question.
So if camera technology has gotten better, why haven't pictures of Sasquatches gotten better?
I think the problem is that people aren't where the Sasquatches are with technology. And here's the thing about these creatures. They're like other large primates, and chimps and gorillas in particular, but other primates as well. They're keenly aware of things in their surroundings, in their environment, their territories. They will especially shy away from humans. A lot of animals view us as a threat, and the Sasquatch is really no different. So they will stay away from people. Now, I do have pictures, very clear ones, that were sent to me from a witness. But unlike a lot of people, because I don't post those things, for attention. But generally, and I should say, here's the thing: what people are thinking phones, their cell phones. When you encounter one of these things, the last thing in your mind is to reach in your pocket, grab a phone, and take a picture. Let me tell you, the fear is overwhelming. So I hope that answered the question.
Eddie?
And there's one more point there too. There's things like game cams. A lot of people ask how come game cams don't work, and it goes back to that part about objects in their environment that don't belong there. They know what doesn't belong there, and they will make a very wide path around it. And so do gorillas and chimps and other apes.
Yay! Woo!
All right, Lewis, the next question here.
Okay, my question is, how tall was the tallest Sasquatch ever recorded?
It wasn't documented, but there were Native American folks that said when their village they said 14 feet.
14? Oh, wow.
Now, out of field, it could have been an exaggeration, but because height, a lot of times, unless you have something to compare it to that's a known object, that you know the height of, it's pretty difficult to gauge that. But that's the largest one, I believe.
Okay.
Do you guys imagine running into something like that?
Oh, no!
Yeah, that would definitely be an underwear changing moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm out.
Okay, we got one from Matthew here. Matthew, come sit in the chair of questions.
Which of the 4 types of Sasquatches are usually the tallest?
Typically the type ones, like you see in the Patterson film. But that's not to say the other ones won't be equal height. But typically they're the larger ones.
Are you good? All right, thank you. Matthew, say the same thing.
Thank you.
Okay. Next question from Elita. Come on, Elita.
So, I know that little stuff, the kids Sasquatch could climb trees, but can mature Sasquatches climb trees?
Yes.
Wow.
There's okay. All right, Hannah. They're getting nervous all of a sudden.
I'm not nervous at all.
You're the next one.
How long has Sasquatch been around for?
Longer than people.
Yes.
Longer than people, yes. Now, there's no way to absolutely prove that yet, but I have a good friend who's a forensic anthropologist, and we've talked about this, and scientists know that primates came out of Africa and East Asia in waves, and humans were among the last to come out of one of these waves. And something like the Sasquatch, there could be a lot of things represented in the fossil record of its ancestor Sasquatch, because they more fit the description of the creatures that you be humans. And a lot of Native Americans say they were all human where ancestors came. So, and that way, there are a lot of places around the world. There are species that predate.
Yeah, one of our standards is to talk about the pre-Columbian migration. So the students know about the possible land bridge theory and all. And we've talked about that if humans follow the animals and stuff across, then why not before couldn't Sasquatch or its forefathers do the same thing?
Absolutely, and primates dominated the planet 50,000 years ago. So I read an article a while back where they talked about at that time period the planet was actually what they termed planet of the apes because of such a proliferation of primate species everywhere.
All right, you good, Hannah?
Yes.
All right. Next, after Lewis stops making funny shapes around his head.
I'm not. He's doing it.
Oh, he's doing it. Okay, so the next one, let's see, it's from Madison.
know Sasquatch can fit into 4 groups. Well, you classify them into 4 groups. While I was doing research, some websites said that Sasquatch can be classified into up to, I think, 8 groups. Is that true?
A lot of that speculation. I was told by someone who worked for the government at one point, and I can't really talk too much about him because it jeopardizes his future, basically, if anybody knows that he talked to me. So he told me specifically that they knew that there were 4 types of these creatures. So when I came out with that, and what happens, unfortunately, is there's a lot of people with some wild imaginations, and they try to be better, and it's speculation. What I told people came directly from a reliable source. And it's actually reasonable because there were some anthropologists in the early 70s who wrote, based on footprints, they felt that there were 2 distinct categories. And he reaffirmed that, saying that there were some 2 subgroupings in each one of those 2 groupings. So it does fit. If there were 8 or more, we had a whole bunch of different variations. And I think what happens when people see things, it's like the whole class in there. Everybody is a human being, but no 2 of you look alike. They're easily identifiable by physical characteristics. And so the same is true with Sasquatch. Just because 2 different ones look different doesn't mean they're different species. There have to be some very specific things, like one grouping has large canines like the gorilla, and the other one doesn't. They have teeth more like we do. So it has to be something kind of major like that.
All right, thank you. Right. Ronnie, your question was? Sorry about that. I had somebody come to the classroom door.
My question was, are Sasquatch dangerous during the winter?
They can be. It's like any wild creature. I would treat them like a bear. They're territorial. All primates are territorial. And oftentimes reports going hundreds of years back are very unpleasant patterns. So, yeah, they can be.
They're all getting shy all of a sudden. All right, well, this is a relatively new student, but I don't quite know where he sits on it, but he has a really good question. Training.
Okay, so my question is, if Sasquatch has a blind spot, where is it and how would you stay hidden in it?
A blind spot?
Like a weakness?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something we've been talking about lately. A good friend of mine worked together in this. And it's something we've noticed about, a lot of people think, and I think they can see extremely well in the dark. And there are accounts that sort of point to not so much as seeing well in the dark as they can see movement. There have been cases where people have been out there, in close proximity, and they don't know the person being driven for falling because the person doesn't move, and the someone conceals. So I think if there was a weakness, that would be a weakness.
And that would be, if you could tell maybe, wasn't that Bob Titmus?
That was the Bob Titmus story, yes.
Could you tell him that?
And since that one, I actually had come across a few other witnesses who had similar accounts.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have a moment to tell them the Bob Titmus story of that night?
Yeah, that was an interesting story. When he was very old, not too long before he passed away. He related the story to an individual who wrote a was from the Bluff Creek area where Roger Patterson got his film in 1967, a couple of years before. So now that went on for about 20, all the things that happened in that area. So he was up Bluff Creek, actually not that far from film site, and he was kind of snooping around the area. He was out there too long, so he didn't want to try to come back through the forest in the dark because you can trip and get hurt pretty easily doing that. He didn't have any lights or anything, so he decided to sleep for the night and get up and go back to his camp in the morning. So what he did is he dug a shallow hole, he laid down, and it covered himself up with eye needles and things like that. So just this part of his face was sticking out, and he went to sleep. So he figured about 1 o'clock in the morning, he heard something that sounded like a bulldozer coming through the brush. And this thing apparently was that knew he was there, smelling, and it was sniffing the air, but it couldn't find him. So he laid still, and this thing just it screamed and thrashed the brush, and this lasted, he figured, for around, I believe it was 4:30 in the morning. And when daylight came, he came out of his home. The creature left at this point, and trees everywhere were just buried, destroyed. And when he looked at the footprints, when Patterson got his film a couple of years later, he realized it was the same Sasquatch that was in that film. Just like people. Have you ever tried to wear somebody else's shoes? They don't fit right, even though you're the same size. They feel funny because everybody's feet were different. They're very characteristic. You can be identified by your feet footprints. The same is true with the Sasquatch. They're no truly exactly alike, and you can identify individuals by prints. So he knew it was the same creature. Very.
Okay, next one is Jaden. Come on back.
My question is, does Sasquatch kill for sport, and what do they do with the bodies? Because if they do kill for sport, they're obviously not going to do that.
There have been occasions where that's happened. A friend of an investigator, and I think he was in North Carolina, I can't think. He was in Florida now, but it was in the Carolinas. He said there was a small community where they fertilized him locally. Well, they kind of doing a lot of farms and things, but it wasn't, like they put together. And this creature apparently was killing the animals for the sake of fun, and it was legal for people. So nobody really, it just put up the accurate potholes of these lines. But there are a number of cases I could try.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Listen up, guys. Huh? You can't what? Okay, well, next up, Joshua. Come on, Joshua. I'm trying to sit over there almost out of camera. Come on, get quicker to the chair. I got your question.
Pretty much everything. Mostly, they hunt deer, they'll eat any kind of vegetation or something like that. I even found a plastic bag in their droppings one time, so they'll eat garbage too.
Oh
It was a surprise, let me tell you.
Well, that kind of ties into the next question, Aaliyah. Come on back.
If there's not enough food around, what would they eat?
Well, fortunately, they actually have plenty of food. I don't really know what they would do for nothing, but Sasquatch is what's termed as a generalist. In other words, when animals are kind of headed toward extinction, they're they're highly specialized. In other words, they can only live in very certain type of environments and eat certain things. The more generalized species is, the more successful it is. So the Sasquatch is extremely generalized. They can fit pretty much anywhere, they can eat anything and do eat everything. So they're highly adaptable.
You understand that? Generalized means they can pretty much adapt to the environment.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Claire, come on back. They're so nervous they're forgetting their questions.
Oh, I just have to
see
move
me.
on.
Remember your question? Okay.
What type of resources does a Sasquatch need to live in?
I'm sorry. I didn't have problems with my headset. Wait, again?
What type of resources does a Sasquatch need to be able to survive in an area?
Oh. Well, like anything, they need food, water, not so much shelter. They're pretty well adapted to their environment and actually prefer colder weather. So as long as they have plenty of food sources and typically a lack of humans, they definitely like to stay with them.
That makes sense, right?
Thank you.
Let's see. RJ. Come on, man.
Does Sasquatch eat all their food or do they store it somewhere?
They typically eat everything, but they will burn away for any time. They don't do it a lot of it for different time, but you do know they do it.
Tiffany, come on back.
So because of what we're doing to nature, how many more Sasquatches do you think exist?
A lot of people ask me the question, and I would sort of put down that in terms of the population size. The population is actually growing because of what we have done before us. And that revolves around, sorry about that, phone's ringing here. We get all these robocalls. Anyway, back up until the 1970s and 80s, they were doing a lot of logging, particularly in the Pacific Northwest and places like that. And when you have a forest canopy that's old and covers an area, it doesn't let a lot of sunlight to the ground, so you have very limited leafy vegetation. So the animals that eat that vegetation, their population is controlled by the amount of food that's available. When you log an area, it takes quite a while for trees to grow back, even if when they seed them. It takes years for trees to grow back and reforest an area. So what you get is a lot of leafy plants covering that open area. So the animals that eat that, like deer and so on, their population basically exploded. There's tons and tons of deer everywhere now. And the predators that eat the deer, their populations also grew exponentially. So what we have is a huge population of Sasquatches now. My inside contact said in the 1950s, the estimate was around 50,000 on the North American continent, which is still a deep breeding population. Today, he didn't give me an exact number, they just said 6 figures, which, could be double that, could be 10 times that, we don't know. But there's a lot, and we're seeing a lot of young ones this year in particular. In fact, I got something to show you. Everybody knows about it. Because you guys have cast. This is a Sasquatch track. This is from the Patterson Sasquatch, by the way. And this one is an infant. friend of mine found this up near Mount Rainier a number of years ago, and he sent me a copy of it. And he found a line of these in the mud by a lake. It's only about 3 inches long. It's tiny. I mean, you can see in my hand how small it is.
Still bigger than a human infant, though.
It is, yes. And if you can see it very much in profile, but the heel is actually very deep. And there were adult Sasquatch tracks about 10 or 15 feet away from the pilot print. So even the infants, they were able to walk alone.
Okay, Sammy.
So, are there any convincing Sasquatch pictures or videos that are like that you think are real, other than the Patterson film, and where you can identify the features of the Sasquatch?
There are few, unfortunately, people put a lot of stuff on computer and things like that, and most of that is fake. There are some. The key when we look at those pictures on YouTube, the Sasquatch walks very different. Their mechanics are very different. Both are very different than others, so they like it. Whenever you see them dots, like you do like we said about, the Sasquatch never bumps its head when it walks. It was always described as very fluid type motion. And it's because they walk with their teeth bent and things like that, and it makes it different. It's a very different type of movement. So there are a few that I think are probably legitimate, but and of course I was sent one myself from Upper Michigan. It was taken in 2009. It's clear. It's broad daylight. The creature is actually running away from the person taking the picture. The family who took the picture deny what's in it. They don't want anything to do with it. They won't talk about it. They gave it to a family friend who sent it to me. But it's one of those things. I mean, yeah, it's on the cover of that book.
I showed this time. Bigfoot evidence. Remember this picture we talked about? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very much like creatures like that, very much so. So, and I actually blew up the picture on the inside and circled of its four of the dark and light. Only one leg is actually on the ground. So people say, well, that's a bear. It's not a bear because bears don't run on two legs, don't run. And one of the legs is completely stretched back, which is not something a person can do. A person doesn't run that way. So I think that's a legitimate picture. There are some, and that most people usually look at the legitimate picture, they don't bring it out. And I'm not sure why that is, but I remember people saying some are supposed to be sending it to me, but they refuse to talk. If somebody brings something out, especially in YouTube, that's a red flag. I always question. I'm quite a bit of a skeptic, actually. Even though I've seen these things, I don't classify myself as a believer or any of those kinds of categories. I prefer the term skeptic, even though I know they're out there because I've seen them. I still remain skeptical because so many people are in the fence. You know, a lot of people go either way very easily, just depending on if they're shown something credible.
I think that's what makes it so hard too, is all the fake stuff. You talk about it. A lot of people just stay away from the subject, or if you bring it up, it's just and it's like, why are these people doing all this to it?
I think a lot of people just want attention. A lot of people just want attention, especially today with computers and podcasts and things. But now it's so easy to do things like that and be anonymous. You can say and do things, and I post my show on YouTube every week, my podcast, Fruit Devil, and I approve the comments because sometimes there's just silly ones on there, and I don't allow things that are hurtful to people or witnesses, and it's hard enough being a witness and coming out talking about what happened to you, whether you want to have people make fun of you. and I know I was in that boat. One of my sisters, my dad, and one of my sisters really made fun of me a lot when I was 14, and she's a couple of years younger. And when we were adults, she had she drove right by one night, and it scared her so bad she was years before she would talk to me about it, because she made fun of me that she found out by seeing one herself. And she was actually pretty close. She turned the car that was under the street light, and the thing was right there under the street light, very agitated. I think it probably could have reached out and touched her car. So it's a very traumatic situation to go through when you experience these things. Good, okay.
And I know we sent you the questions, but we've had a couple of new students. Well, one that was on emergency leave, and she has a question. And then,
Okay.
Kia, you said you got a question. You got a student who's only been with us about a week. So let's see, Jay, come on back.
Have you ever come across someone who tells you about an encounter, but they're actually lying about seeing Sasquatch?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Unfortunately, I have experienced that. Not very often, fortunately, but I've had people who, and I had a guy, I'll give you an example. This was about 5 or 6 years ago. Contacted me, told me the story about what supposedly happened. And it was an old story by the time he told me this, but I didn't really have any way to go and check up on it and investigate it. So there were some portions for the way to find money. But the people I believe in England who taught me a lot of things that I know told me to watch and stay in contact with people like that for long time periods. He was saying that the people for 20 years now, just to see if those stories changed. And I eventually found out that which was, I didn't find out about the changing. I found out about many people that there were things in the story, like the story was at night, and it had to be bright moonlight, but there was no moon that night. And it was just, things happened one after another. I found out that were proving to be a liar. So I didn't contact him anymore. And I just turn away from people like that. I don't have any use for people lying about something. And again, it goes back to hurting those people who have had really scary encounters and it's changed their lives. And I've had people come to tears telling me their story because they couldn't talk to anybody else about it. And when you talk to somebody like that, I mean, your heart just goes out to them because you feel the fear that they're reliving telling that story. And for people to fake things, it hurts those people.
Sasquatches are scared of humans, so why do they like get killed animals and stuff and messing with their houses?
Usually it's a territorial thing. And it's not country. Sometimes, like one animals, they're not all exactly the same. It depends on their disposition, their kind of their attitude, maybe age, things like that. But when they come and do those houses, people are kind of raised. We leave a lot of things going on. Unfortunately, dogs, cats, other domestic animals, that they will come and take as a food source. It's easy food source. It's much easier than going out trying to hunt the deer. Same with garbage, these things are just laying around. Oh, they do things that they apply, but they would find useful. And it can be it's not out of that people they're establishing territory. And one of the things I've helped a lot of people do, I've had a lot of people contact me, they want these things gone. And I learned from my contacts that there are some things we can do to keep them away from people's homes. And some of that involves taking their territory back, creating an established boundary. So, yeah, that's usually the
Anybody? Oh, Talon. Well, Talon left us. They got orders and they moved away. Talon had. Oh, she wanted to know, was Sasquatch invented in a lab, or did it evolve from monkeys or humans, or where do you think it came from?
I talked to my ex-friend, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and everybody's sort of, science kind of thought the image that if you picture this tree, when you talk about the whole primate species groups, change crows, orangutan, humans, monkeys, and then they picture this tree that all these things coming from the people first, spreading out in different branches. He said that's not really true. So scientists now, he called it little groups, peer groups there, could be distantly related, but very, very separate. So the Sasquatch wasn't something invented. It's been around a while, and they have different primates similar to what we're seeing now. They have now 7 different types of hominids. One hominid, which is different than what, and then the category is changing, the names are changing now, but it used to be pungent were apes, hominids were humans, and we were the only living member of hominid family group. Now they know there were at least 7 that lived at the same time, and that's just the fossils they found. So there's lots of things they don't know. These things are much older than we are, so we've got a lot to learn about them.
And I had a question I sent you. I was actually listening to one of the, I think it was one of your the Creek Devils things, and you hear about tree knots a lot. And we understand that they're not trying to talk to humans; they're talking to other Sasquatches.
Right.
But lots of times you hear like the same number repeated or something. Do you think that means they might have a basic understanding of counting, or maybe it's just like muscle memory, they were taught that or something? Because it's like 3 knots, something like that.
Well, they're highly intelligent. Now, whether they can count, that's open to speculation, but, and typically knocking isn't what they do so much. It's more like rock clacking and tongue pops. In fact, we've been talking about that. We think a lot of that isn't so much actually knocking, but it's tongue clicking. That's what we're thinking now. I go back to when you look in the past, you can learn a lot by looking at the history of the subject. This tree knocking thing is a very recent development of the subject, and that raises red flag because it's very long. We have reports for lots of them. You don't see that anywhere until I think around the 1990s. So, and the Indians always talk about whistling. So whistling, and it's in the ceremonial masks for most tribes, you have to look at what people have been playing for a long period of time. So the knocking, like I said, I think is more of this tongue popping, and it's usually very loud. I think it would be mistaken for tree knock. And I think that's more likely than one. But as far as the numbers and time, could be muscle memory, could rest. And now, in a group, vocalism thing is group specific, so if they did 2 times, they might not necessarily be counting that might move to that particular group. Maybe it is in their movement, and that tongue behavior be very difficult to we have long-term sustained patient to kind of pick apart what they're doing.
Thank you.
And I can say, a lot of people, one of the things I put in the book, I talked about was like physics. Everybody knows it was like physics, right? I wish I had a new skull, because you can see this. This is a large male gorilla skull. And if you've seen a gorilla, they're pretty big animals, right? So this one well, these creatures really did exist. This is the skull that took out pictures. And in fact, it's all what I have coming is close to this. And these dark areas that the actual fossils that they have at least 4 jaws, 100 teeth. So I always tell people if something like this did exist, and we know it existed, they were 12 feet high, 1,500 pounds, and the Sasquatch was taller than my cousin so I always tell people be skeptical and question things, and have a little open mind, but it has to be reasonable. And there's a lot of science about things like people talk about coming from different planets. And my answer is, name one other animal in the entire history of the planet has that capability, or might speak any other fanciful idea to start reality.
We've talked about some of those things, the food player stuff. And, the students, they usually giggle and all. And, yeah, they get it. I don't read them those stories or nothing like that. Sometimes we'll talk about it. You just see this look on the student, even these guys, because kids are so great with their emotions, they'll just roll their eyes like, I can't believe somebody believes that.
I'm going to show some that I guess that stuff laughing because, knowing the background and stuff like that, guys, I just can't deal with it. There has to be some logic behind what I'm looking at.
And, one of the things they've learned also is from our little information center corner is that, if scientists say something cannot exist, that's kind of a red flag in itself if history, if you look at it. Now, some things, obviously, the law of gravity, that's a given. But when they say, they said, what, the Komodo dragon, right? The giant squid, and they were saying those are the 4 claws of the panda. And even, what was it, the billy eagle. That these are folklore, they cannot exist. And yet science has been proven so many times that these do exist. So, you got fossils of it and say you can't, that's like, really?
And even the gorilla was discovered in 1907, so the gorilla 100 years ago, gorilla was proven real. And there are going to be fossils for chimp. If the chimp were to die out today, 500 years from now, people would say, well, maybe that was fake, because there are no fossils for it. And fossils have to occur in places, jungle and forest are 2 of the main places that fossil creation is very, very difficult to take place. And that's where these creatures are.
You guys understand why it's hard for fossils to take place here, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. Jake, why? Yeah? In jungles and forests, why is that hard?
Because sometimes, like birds might scavenge around and take some to their nest, and sometimes, it depends on the soil. Like, sometimes it has acidic soil, and it might, dissolve. And other times, the animals just hide away so they won't get eaten or they won't get killed when they know that they're gonna die soon. So they go somewhere that nobody else will find them.
They're good. They're good kids. Yeah. Wow, that means they listen. I learned them good. Okay, well, we're going to have to get going here in a minute. But Lewis has another question.
What was the scariest story you heard from a witness?
There was one that comes to mind. It wasn't really all that long ago. A police officer friend of mine in New Mexico, he's the one who told me the story. And it involved a drug case. Got a call from the hospital, he went there, and the guy was just really beaten up bad. And we asked him what happened. He told me the police that, now you gotta know, one of these things, they live on the ranch quite a ways away from people. And he was watering his tomatoes one day with a garden hose, and lo and behold, here comes a Sasquatch walking by nearby him. And Of course, he freaked out and he shot it with the garden hose and took off running. Now, whether that had anything to do with what happened later is unknown. But he was gone on business for a couple of months. Now, he didn't flip side, he didn't lock his doors or anything. And apparently this thing figured out how to at least mentally clear out enough to get the door open. So he was napping in his bed when he got back from his trip. And something woke him up, he opened his eyes, and this massive creature standing over him in his room. And as soon as he opened his eyes, things started, it shut tight and started attacking him. And the guy was 6'4", I believe, big guy, was throwing him around like a rag doll, like he was just a tiny nothing. And he fought back as best he could, and at one point, he got his hand in its mouth and it bit one of his fingers off. And then it slammed him into the wall, knocking him out. When he woke up, his house was completely trashed, and he eventually moved away. I mean, he couldn't take that. He passed away recently, but to me, that's a pretty frightening encounter.
Do you have a couple more minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Linka here. Oh, do you know what type Sasquatch that was with that man?
I don't offhand, but given the location, it's probably a type 2, and they're a little more aggressive than the other ones are.
All right, Linka.
So I have one about the tadpole. So you know how she looks at you, like looks at the camera and looks right into his room. Why didn't she just go after them? Like, was she protecting something?
You know, I asked Renee Henry about that many years ago because when they came in, they came down the creek, they were coming up the creek. And they came around the bend in the creek and the creature was there. And it could have gone to its left or the left of Patterson and Gimlin and disappeared in a second. My second sighting was like that. The creature was standing near the river. They stood in the saw the car. They took off into the brush. But this one didn't. Instead, it walked across a large open area, not particularly fast. And at one point, it turns around and looks at them almost like it's making sure that they're still there. And I always found that very curious. A lot of people go out, and all they care about is somebody's story and getting footprints and stuff like that. I always ask questions about what it was doing. Why was it doing the things it did? And there are two possibilities. One, either there was yelling nearby, but there wasn't any evidence of the yelling. And there were a number of people there and tracked the creature. Now, there were 3 Sasquatches in the area. A couple of months before, when those footprints when they first appeared in the area, found by a logging crew, there were 3 Sasquatches. Well, it's eventually filmed with smaller crew. So, and I asked even Gimlin a few years back why they didn't follow it, and he said, we were afraid for the others. What I think was happening was it was trying to draw them into an ambush. The other 2 were probably farther in the direction it was going. We actually went out of their site, Bob Tipp's track 10 days later, and he said it went for, I can't remember how far it was, 200 yards, and actually went up a slight rise and hid in some ferns, and it was there for quite a while watching it go in. And this has happened like with other people who have actually had these things attempt to eat that information. And one hunter in particular told me he followed it, and he kept looking back occasionally like the one who killed it, and then he saw the other ones waiting, hiding behind rugs and things, and it spooked him, so he took off. He was lucky to get out of that, but yeah, I think that's my current feeling about what was going on here.
Okay, one more. Jake. You can stay right there.
These are right
Have you ever heard somebody tell you a story, but instead of like you said, that people go into tears sometimes, instead of going into tears, have you ever heard them like their face expressions, like they're going to pass out or something?
Yeah, there's been a few who are pretty close, I think, to hyperventilate, just reliving the moment. I know one guy in Kentucky, nice guy, he's in the middle of what's going on there currently, and he laughs a lot. You probably heard him on the podcast, Chris. And people, when they comment about if they're doing inappropriate, they twist it. Very nervous, it's nervous laughter. And my background in Washington State English psychology, so I'm not a psychologist, but I know enough to get in trouble. And I think that's a condition sometimes that happens. If somebody, that's their coping mechanism. With maybe a lot of stress they're going under is laughter, nervous laughter. Each person has a different reaction to the kind of stresses they go through.
That answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, Mr. Jevning, these guys really thank you. I mean, we've done so much about it. To these guys, you're kind of like a rock star. And
I appreciate the question. You're very great, Phil.
yeah, I like that I can let them listen to your stuff because it's good information. It's not flute player, and you keep it clean. Because in school you have to really, watch language, stuff like that. And I know I can play on one of yours and it's good to go. And they just really do it. And I like to tell them that hopefully, during our lifetime, Sasquatch is proven to be real. I've heard your podcast, that could be good or bad for the Sasquatch. But, that they'll remember two people, no matter how old they are. They'll remember you and me, teaching them about it. We'll be famous forever, in their minds at least.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the subject and stay skeptical. I remember, I think I told you when I had a couple teachers growing up through school who were retired. We were the last class they had. And one in particular was a sixth grade teacher. And the very last day of that class, I was with her. She told us now, granted, this is back around 1971, and people's thinking was a little different those days. She told us to be individual. There's a lot of people today, it's so easy to go around kind of a group, mindset. It's very important to remain individuals, think for yourself and question things. Don't just run with what other people say. If something doesn't make sense to you, find out why it doesn't make sense. Question things. And that's very true with this subject. Question everything. When you're skeptical, it makes us in this subject work harder for our answers and to get better answers.
All right, guys. Ready to finish your projects now?
No.
Their final thing is they have to stand in front of their classmates with the PowerPoint up and defend their opinion. Because that meets standards. So they're going to have fun with it. They'll be fun. But they got more information. What do you guys say?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Very welcome.
And I'll be in touch with you again for any follow-up stuff.
Okay.
Share a couple of their presentations.
And if there's anything you need from me, don't hesitate.
Okay. And we really, really appreciate it. I mean, I don't know how much.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to everyone.
Okay. All right, guys. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Mr. Jevning.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. I'll send this to you as soon as I process it.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Have a good day.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.